Jay-Z reportedly lost it after 50 Cent went on Instagram and dropped a bombshell hinting at a new documentary. According to 50, the project will reveal shocking stories about Jay-Z, and it comes just weeks after his name appeared in the Epstein files released by the Department of Justice. The tension between 50 Cent and Jay-Z goes back over 20 years. But this new revelation might be the most explosive chapter yet. Fans are already speculating what exactly did 50 Cent just expose. On January 31st, 2026, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson posted something on Instagram that would break the internet. He wrote, "Damn, they got your man Jay in the Epstein files. I gotta do a doc on this shit." Alongside computer-generated imagery of Jay-Z, the post went viral, getting hundreds of thousands of interactions and prompting scrutiny of the Justice Department's latest release of Jeffrey Epstein-related files. Now, to understand why this hit so hard, you need to know what had just happened. The United States Department of Justice had disclosed more than 3 million pages of documents, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images from its investigations into convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. On January 30th, 2026, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche announced that the DOJ had produced a tranche of material in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which was signed into law on November 19th, 2025, and mandated the release of all unclassified records related to the federal investigations. Buried inside those millions of pages was a mention of Jay-Z. According to an FBI crisis intake report included in the latest Epstein release, an anonymous victim who claimed she had been drugged and sexually abused in several instances throughout the years said she once woke up in a room with Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. The report also stated that because the victim was drugged in both scenarios, her memory was clouded. The victim alleged that on one occasion, in approximately 1996, she was abducted from her home, and when she woke up, she was in a room with Weinstein and Jay-Z. According to a redacted report, the woman believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Now, here is where context matters. Mentions of Jay-Z pushing Harvey Weinstein did not come from Epstein's personal records, nor reports corroborated by law enforcement. The two rappers and the disgraced Hollywood mogul were named in a tip to the FBI, which was archived as part of the Epstein investigation. The tip itself does not imply these individuals were investigated, nor does it in any way imply guilt for the accusations posed. As stated by the DOJ, because of the sweeping nature of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, everything sent to the FBI by the public in relation to the case was slated for release, meaning some of the accusations posed would be fake or falsely submitted. That is an important detail. This was not a verified allegation. It was a tip on an FBI hotline. These FBI crisis intake reports from 2019 originated from anonymous hotline tips to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center rather than flight logs, address books, or verified evidence. One caller alleged Jay-Z was present alongside Weinstein during an incident in 1996. Neither allegation led to charges or investigation, but none of that stopped 50 Cent from pouncing on the moment. Many people speculated whether 50 Cent was planning to make Jay-Z the subject of his next documentary. However, he did not address the speculation directly. And why would people think 50 Cent was serious? Because he had just done it to someone else. 50 Cent's Instagram post follows his high-profile role as executive producer of Sean Combs' The Reckoning, a Netflix docuseries that aired on December 2nd, 2025. That project had already proven that 50 Cent was not bluffing when he said he wanted to make documentaries about people in hip-hop. 50 Cent appeared to be the only high-profile celebrity to publicly react to reports that Jay-Z's name appeared in Epstein files. Nobody else in the industry said a word. Everyone else stayed quiet. 50 Cent ran to Instagram. That is who he is. That has always been who he is. The rapper's suggestion of a Jay-Z documentary comes amid an ongoing personal and professional rivalry between the two artists. The rivalry, documented in interviews and social media exchanges over the years, has seen both artists trade public barbs on multiple occasions. Observers note that while 50 Cent's comment teases a high-impact project, definitive production plans have not been disclosed. So, Let's rewind and break down how these two New York giants ended up here, because this did not start in 2026. This started in 1999. The rivalry between 50 Cent and Jay-Z is one of the longest-running feuds in hip-hop history. Tension between the two New York giants has simmered for over 20 years. It all goes back to a single song. On August 10, 1999, 50 Cent released his first major label single. The song How to Rob was featured on the soundtrack of the film Eno Deep. The record featured a young artist who was largely unknown outside the New York mixtape circuit, explaining how he would rob famous music industry figures from Jay-Z and Timberland Du Bois to Two Men and Keith Sweat. 50 Cent said that he intended the single to be a joke and not meant to disrespect anybody. Nevertheless, a number of rappers mentioned on the song responded on record. In August 1999, Jay-Z was already a multi-platinum artist with Billboard topping singles such as Hard Knock Life. He was established. 50 Cent was not. So, when 50 dropped a song talking about robbing Jay-Z, people paid attention. Jay-Z responded in a very public way. At Summer Jam in 1999, Jay-Z went on stage and rapped a line dismissing 50 Cent. A reworked version also appeared on It Hot, some like it hot off Jay-Z's Volume 3 album, which was released in December 1999. It was the most public rebuttal to 50 Cent's controversy, and Jay-Z went on stage and did it. That is how this rivalry started, with mutual respect. 50 even credited Jay-Z's rebuttal with elevating his career. When he responded, "I was complimented," he told Rolling Stone in 2003. He wouldn't say nothing back to somebody he didn't think was hot. "I never went to radio until after he said that about me. I don't know if my career would be where it's at if he didn't respond." That is 50 Cent giving Jay-Z credit for making him relevant. That is a significant admission from a man who does not hand out credit freely. By 2003, 50 Cent and Jay-Z's rivalry had morphed from undisputed champion versus UPenn coming in challenger to what felt more like two equals after Queens, New York native dropped his smash hit in the club and blockbuster debut album Get Rich or Die Trying, catapulting him to global stardom. The move eventually led to the 2003 release of Get Rich or Die Trying, the best-selling album of 2003, and 12 million copies were sold worldwide by the end of the year. 50 Cent was no longer an up-and-comer. He was the biggest rapper on the planet. So Jay-Z made a strategic move. Jay-Z seemingly decided to keep his enemies closer by hitting the road with 50 Cent on the Rock the Mic tour in 2003. The pair even freestyled together in a Reebok commercial to promote their respective sneaker collaborations with the sports giant. Both rappers inked sneaker deals with Reebok, helping drive an 11% revenue increase for the company that year. The shows ran smoothly, and a joint Reebok commercial featuring both artists showcased a rare moment of unity. It remains one of the only times they appeared together on camera performing. But even sharing a stage and a brand deal did not stop the competition. The competitive fire was not snuffed out, as 50 later bragged about his Gunnet Reebok shoes, outselling Jay's Escarter kicks 6-1. Jay-Z also dropped out of the extended run of their joint tour, which coincided with his retirement plans at the time. That is how it went. They would come together, pretend everything was fine, and then somebody would throw a jab. The cycle repeated itself for years. 50 Cent made it clear years later that despite the professionalism between them, he and Jay-Z would never be friends. "We don't have those kinds of relationships," he told MTV News in 2011. So even when they were on the same tour and doing the same brand deal, 50 Cent had no illusions about their relationship. They were not friends. They were competitors. And that competition would only get more intense. By 2007, the dynamics between 50 Cent and Jay-Z had shifted again. 50 was preparing to release his third studio album, Curtis, and he was in a public sales battle with Kanye West. That battle dominated hip-hop for months, but Jay-Z was still lurking in the background. By 2007, during the Screamfest tour headlined by T.I. and Carrera, 50 was preparing to release Curtis opposite Kanye West's Graduation. At the Madison Square Garden show, Jay appeared alongside Kanye, Puffy, and Swiss Beats until 50 suddenly walked across the stage, seemingly trolling the moment. 50 Cent literally walked onto a stage where Jay-Z was performing and crashed the set. 50 Cent reposted a video of himself crashing Jay-Z's performance with Kanye West and T in 2007. "This is why they say I only had one album." He captioned the clip, "I made them so uncomfortable. I'm working on being a better person. LOL." That is 50 Cent acknowledging that he was disruptive and enjoying it. He was not apologizing. He was bragging about it years later. The pair's only other musical collaboration came 4 years later, when Jay-Z jumped on the remix of 50 Cent's 2007 hit, "I Get Money," alongside another rapper. But once again, the shots continue to ring out as Jay-Z reminded 50 that the Big Apple still belongs to him. Even on a collaboration they were competing, Jay-Z used the remix to reassert his dominance over New York. 50 Cent used it to show he could get Jay-Z on his track. In a 2009 interview with Rolling Stone, 50 Cent said that Jay-Z thinks he's underscoring his 50s. The rivalry flared up again in 2009, when 50 accused Jay of having a king complex. He also criticized Jay's 444 album, calling it golf course music. That golf course music line is one of the most memorable disses 50 Cent ever threw at Jay-Z. It was his way of saying Jay-Z had gone soft, that he had moved so far from the streets that his music sounded like it was made for a country club. Whether you agree with that assessment or not, it landed. People talked about it for months. To hear 50 tell it, Jay-Z never posed any real competition to him when he was at the height of his powers. There ain't never been number 50 Cent Jay-Z conversations questioning whether there was a competition between the two of them. He told Tim Westwood in 2009. It's a huge difference in energy internationally in 50 Cent and Jay-Z. His largest selling record sold 430-something thousand copies. My largest selling records, plural, 2 of them sold 5 million. That's get rich or die trying to massacre. 50 Cent was making a sales argument. He was saying that in terms of raw album sales, Jay-Z could not compete with him at his peak. And on the numbers, he had a point, at least in terms of first week sales during that era. But Jay-Z's catalog is deeper, and his total sales are higher over the course of his career. Then the Super Bowl situation happened. Jackson opened up about his performance at the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, and Mary J. Blige. The Many Men rapper appeared as a surprise guest, but he also accused Jay-Z's Roc Nation of trying to leave him out of the performance. "Roc Nation didn't want me there," Jackson said. "Yeah, they didn't want me there. Eminem wouldn't do it without me. That's how I ended up on the show, because he was not coming if I didn't do it. Let that sit for a moment." 50 Cent claims that Jay-Z's Roc Nation, the company that co-produces, true. It means Jay-Z used his business position to try to keep 50 Cent off one of the biggest stages in the world. And it means Eminem had to leverage his own star power to force the issue. During an interview at the time, 50 Cent reportedly said that no one really knew who Jay-Z was before the rapper married Beyoncé. That is another shot, another jab. 50 Cent was saying Jay-Z's cultural relevance expanded because of his marriage, not just his music. 50 Cent said during his interview with MTV News that he has a business relationship with Jay-Z. "It's not like we have something against each other to make us enemies." He said, "Me and Jay will use each other repeatedly for energy." That line is telling. We will use each other repeatedly for energy. That is 50 Cent admitting that the rivalry serves both of them. It keeps them both in the conversation. It generates attention. And in hip-hop, attention is currency. In December 2024, things escalated to a new level. Jay-Z, also known as Sean Carter, was accused in a lawsuit filed on December 8, 2024, of assaulting a 13-year-old girl after an award show in 2000. The lawsuit, initially filed in October 2024 against another rapper alone, was refiled in New York's Southern District Federal Court to include Jay-Z. The plaintiff in the case is identified as an anonymous Jane Doe. Jay-Z denied the allegations. Following the allegation against him, Jay-Z issued a denial stating, "My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Earlier in 2024, Jay-Z was hit with a sexual assault lawsuit that was later dropped. The Jane Doe who filed the $20 million lawsuit later said that she would remain anonymous out of fear for her safety and mental health. 50 Cent wasted no time reacting. 50 Cent appeared to make his feelings on Jay-Z apparent in December 2024, days after Jay-Z was accused in the civil lawsuit. The Empire State of Mind musician attended the Mufasa movie premiere alongside wife Beyoncé and daughter Blue Ivy Carter. 50 Cent posted on Instagram. Jay said, "They said I rapped the kid. Everybody get dressed, we're going to see." Mufasa L'd in a post that was deleted shortly after. That post was deleted, but not before the entire internet saw it, and it set the tone for what was coming. Following the Jay-Z accusation, 50 Cent made a joke about the Super Bowl halftime show. "Okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we going to still have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend." 50 Cent posted via X. He further clarified that he was just asking for the sake of Kendrick Lamar, who was set to perform. 50 Cent was asking whether Jay-Z's legal situation would affect the Super Bowl. It was a pointed question designed to embarrass Jay-Z and remind everyone that Roc Nation ran the halftime show. Addressing his rivalry with Jay-Z, 50 Cent clarified that there is no animosity between them. It's just being competitive. He said, explaining that their interactions are rooted in competition rather than real conflict. That is the interesting part. 50 Cent says there is no real beef. He says it is just competition. But the things he posts and the things he says in interviews tell a different story. Or maybe they tell the same story. That for 50 Cent, competition is beef and beef is competition. There is no difference. Then came the Netflix documentary. The release of Sean Combs' The Reckoning, the Netflix docu-series executive produced by 50 Cent, set off a new round of scrutiny and reopened long-standing tensions across the hip-hop world. Though Jay-Z has not commented publicly on the series, or on 50 Cent directly, the document's arrival stirred broader speculation about old rivalries resurfacing. Before the documentary even aired, 50 Cent was trolling Jay-Z about it. In a post shared on social media, 50 Cent joked about Jay-Z's reaction to not being featured in the Netflix documentary. Alongside a video that showed Jay-Z's face deep-faked onto Lionel Richie's Your music video, 50 Cent cracked a joke about how Jay-Z wasn't featured in The Reckoning. "This the message Jay-Z sent me when he realized he's not in the doc," he wrote, alongside the clip. That was 50 Cent implying that Jay-Z was relieved to not be in the documentary. But the joke had a second meaning that Jay-Z should have been in it. After trying to tear down one rival, it seems as if 50 wasn't done yet, with his followers on social media under the impression that Jay-Z could be his next target. Earlier that year, 50 Cent posted a photo of Jay-Z's face and claimed the decorated rapper and businessman was laying low until legal issues blew over. He made the post after Roc Nation canceled their annual brunch event during Grammy weekend earlier that year. 50 Cent was connecting dots, or at least suggesting the public should connect them. Roc Nation cancels their Grammy brunch. 50 Cent posts about it. Jay-Z goes to a movie premiere after being accused in a lawsuit. 50 Cent posts about it. Jay-Z's name shows up in the Epstein files. 50 Cent announces a documentary. It is a pattern. Every time something happens involving Jay-Z, 50 Cent is there to amplify it. So, here we are in 2026, and the situation has reached its peak. The Department of Justice dropped a massive set of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein in late January 2026. This release, part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, includes over 3 million pages along with that. Itself notes that the information was unverified. No charges were filed, and no proof has been presented linking Jay-Z to any criminal activity. In 1996, Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, had just released his debut album, Reasonable Doubt, and was not yet the global celebrity associated with elite social circles that Epstein frequented. That is a factual point. In 1996, Jay-Z was a new rapper from Brooklyn who had just put out his first album on an independent label. The idea that he was running in the same circles as Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein at that point raises questions about the credibility of the claim. Upon forensic review of the official flight logs released by the court, Sean Carter's name does not appear on a manifest associated with Epstein's documented trips. While many celebrities, including former presidents and royalty, were confirmed passengers, Jay-Z remains absent from the verified judicial records regarding these flights. The book indicates that Epstein or his staff had a person's contact details. It does not prove a meeting occurred, nor does it suggest a criminal. Conspiracy. There's been no verified evidence produced in court that Jay-Z was a primary contact or frequent collaborator in Epstein's personal or professional life. It is important to note that Carter has not been charged with any crimes related to Epstein, and no publicly filed indictment, plea agreement, or other filing. In the Southern District of New York, docket names him as a defendant or co-conspirator. Reviews of the primary criminal case file, including those filed before Epstein's death, show no reference to Carter with regard to any charges, but that has not stopped the fallout. Since the information was released at the end of January, Beyoncé has lost around 200,000 Instagram followers after her husband Jay-Z was named in documents tied to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Neither of the couple have responded to the allegations, and 50 Cent, he is still going. 50 Cent reacted on Instagram to reports of Jay-Z's name appearing in the documents and hinted at the possibility of producing a documentary exploring a potential connection. Now, the question everyone is asking is, will 50 Cent actually make this documentary? Observers note that while 50 Cent's comment teases a high-impact project, definitive production plans have not been disclosed. But the threat alone is enough. The fact that 50 Cent has already produced one major Netflix documentary and is now talking about doing another one, this time targeting Jay-Z, has changed the dynamic between these two forever. Whether the revived chatter signals a meaningful escalation or simply another flare-up in an era of performative online feuds remains uncertain. Still, 50 Cent's steady stream of pointed posts has kept the conversation alive, ensuring that the disputes surrounding the documentary continue to orbit him. Jay seems uninterested in engaging. 50 thrives on confrontation. Their feud feels more like a one-sided campaign driven by 50's relentless trolling. That is the reality of this situation. Jay-Z has said nothing. He has not responded to 50 Cent's Instagram posts. He has not responded to the documentary tease. He has not responded to any of it publicly. His strategy, as it has been for most of the last 2 decades, is silence. 50 Cent, on the other hand, feeds on this. He posts, he trolls, he teases, he drops hints, he announces projects, and then he waits a reaction. It is a strategy that has worked for him throughout his entire career. From How to Rob in 1999 to the documentary tease in 2026, and now in March 2026, the situation has gotten even more complex. A social media post by Representative Nancy Mace confirms that Sean Carter is among those the government is eyeing in connection with the ever-expanding Jeffrey Epstein files investigation. On March 3rd, Representative Mace posted a statement asserting that recently reviewed material in connection with the federal Epstein investigation referenced Carter by name. It is important to note that Carter has not been charged with any crimes related to Epstein, and no publicly filed indictment, plea agreement, or other filing in the Southern District of New York docket names him as a defendant or co-conspirator. So where does this end? Nobody knows. What we do know is that 50 Cent and Jay-Z have been going at it for over 25 years. From How to Rob to the Rock the Mic tour, from the Reebok deal to the Super Bowl, from social media trolling to documentary threats, this is one of the longest, most layered rivalries in hip-hop history. For 50 Cent, whose career has often played out under the glare of public conflict, the renewed attention feels like another chapter in a well-worn saga. Jay-Z has built an empire. He is a billionaire. He runs Roc Nation. He co-produces the Super Bowl halftime show. He is married to one of the biggest entertainers on the planet. He has insulated himself with wealth and power and corporate partnerships. 50 Cent has built something different. He is a TV mogul. He produces hit shows. He produces documentaries. And he still wakes up every morning looking for someone to troll. That is his gift and his weapon. The documentary tease may turn into a real project, or it may not. But the damage is done. 50 Cent has put Jay-Z on notice. He has told the world that he is watching, that he is paying attention, and that he has a platform and the resources to make it public. Whether Jay-Z responds or continues to stay silent, the conversation has shifted. 50 Cent made sure of that with a single Instagram post. And that is where things stand. Two New York rappers who started trading bars in 1999 are now trading. Shots in the era of documentaries and federal investigations. The game has changed, but the rivalry has not. It has just evolved. And if 50 Cent has his way, the next chapter will be streaming on your television.